Welcome to the second level, the second term, and thank God we're inside because it's a beautiful rainy day in Oregon, and we should be inside when it's raining like this and practicing our guitar. So let's review what we should know at the end of 10 weeks. You've been through the first level if you're at the second level, or you should have at least taken a look at it and done a little practicing by now. So let's assume you've done all the work and you've practiced at least 10 weeks. Some of you may have practiced 15 or 20 weeks by now, which is fine. If you're not in school and you're not getting a grade, you can take this at whatever speed you'd like. But it would be a good idea to get that first level or first term out of the way in at least no more than 20 weeks. Because the information we give you in little pieces, but it's very essential information and builds skill sets you need. So let's talk about the discrete scales first. I'm going to ask for a metronome count of about 120 beats a minute. We're going to start there, kind of the top end of where we should have left off from last term. So we're going to go to the first scale form we learned, and we're going to review real quickly how fast we should be able to play it if we play it at quarter notes, and how fast it should sound if we decide to double it up into eighth notes, which will give us more reps quicker, which will allow our scale practice time to go faster. So again, we're going to a couple of bullet points here for your second term. This is what we'll study. We're going to improve our scale studies and our speed, accuracy, utility, and relaxedness of hand. Trying to keep that hand relaxed. We're going to work on our 5 chord forms. So we're going to start bar chording this term. We're going to work on our blueses and towards the back of the book. There's 4 blues pieces that are cadences, just like your chord primers. You're going to learn to strum those this term. And we're going to dig into those next week. But for right now, we'll just go over the chord primers and the scales, and we'll discuss, and I will show you once again how to play your 5 chord forms and kind of the target tempo you want to end up at. So let's take your discrete scale forms first. Starting with E, I need 120. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, and here we go. Notice I'm keeping my left hand addressed nice and straight. Keeping the fingers curled. I'm going to do 2 reps at every fret. Should be able to follow along with me by this point without any problem. Now I'm going to double it up to eighth notes. Do it again. Up a half step or 1 fret. We'll stop right here. So here's the A form at 120. Starting with the second finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, or the A string. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, slide up, crunch, 4 fingers, 4 frets. Back down. Crunch with the 4th finger, slide into position, 4 fingers, 4 frets, lower half. Again. Now we'll double it up. Eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again. Up a half step to C sharp or D flat with the A form. One more time. Stop here. Okay, now we go to your C form, which should start with the pinky on the A string on the 5th fret. It will be in the key of D. So here we go. Here's 120 and the C form. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, play. Again. Double it up. Up a half step. And stop here. There you go. Okay, now the G form, same thing. Pinky on the lowest string, the 6th string. Again, G form shares E form's bass note on the lowest string. We'll start in the key of A at the 5th fret. Here we go, 120 for the G form. 1, 2, ready, play. Remember to stretch, don't move your hand. This is 120. Again, shouldn't be a problem at this point. All 5 of your discrete scales, you should know no matter where you're playing them on the neck, no matter what key you're in, no matter what fret you start on. Should be comfortable. Double it up. Up a half step. Up another half step. Stretch. Very good. And here we go. We're going to stop right here. Now we're going to go to the D form, which will be at the 2nd fret with the 2nd finger. Remember, E, A, and D forms start on their named strings with the 2nd finger at the root. All right. There's a reason for this, because when you connect them, your hand will stay right in line, right up and down the neck. It'll be very easy to play all 5 of the connected scales, which we'll do a little bit further into the 2nd level or 2nd term. So here we go. D at 120 beats a minute. 1, 2, ready, play. Remember to shift here. There you go. Do 2 of them right here. Again. Shift. Back down. Shift. Now double it up. Up a half step. And there you have it. We'll stop right there. All right, so now we're going to take a look at a quick review of the chord primers, how to strum them. And we're going to go 120 beats a minute, and then we're going to take it up to 140. So we're going to go through them very quickly. You can just follow along with me. Play along if you can. You should be able to. None of this stuff should be new at this point. This is what we've done in the previous term. So this is a check-in week. Okay, this is an evaluation week for some of you. This will be a milestones week for others who are not getting an evaluation but want to see what their progress is on their own. So again, for all 3 kinds of students that we work with here, including our advanced students who go through this stuff as aerobics for they do their daily exercises too, or at least they're expected to. And I know a lot of the advanced students certainly do have their warm-up exercises and aerobics they do every day to keep their chops up so they can access their instrument and enjoy it. So here we are with chord primer number 2. We'll just skip number 1 for now. We're going to just figure that everybody knows that one. We're just going to concentrate on number 2 and number 3 today. So here we go with 120 beats a minute. And we'll strum quarter notes first, take the repeat signs with each section. There's 3 sections here in page number 2 or primer number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, play. Now double up. Next exercise right here, measure 9, quarter notes again. Repeat to measure 9, double up. Next exercise, measure 17. D minor here. Watch your fingering. Add your pinky for your dominant 7. G7, A7, D minor, G7, C. Repeat and double stroke. You notice I kind of accent on the 2 and 4. A little harder strike with my downstroke. Add the 7 with the pinky. Okay, so that shouldn't have been any problem for anybody playing along. That's a nice brisk tempo, almost sounded like something you could dance to. Sounds like a song. Again, you can write melodies over these if you'd like. They're exercises that are common song form or common chord progressions that you'll see in a whole lot of different tunes. I'm going to take a moment now to be sure you know all 13 chords you need for the next 2 pages. The chord primer number 2 and number 3 will require that you know these modified chords. We'll take a look at the E chord first in its open position or its home position. There's E minor where we raise the index finger. And then there's E7 where we start with E and we raise the 3rd finger. So this D string is open. Okay, that's the easy one. You'll take a look in your chord dictionary in your book. You'll find a couple of ways to play E7. We're going to go with the lowest impact, minimalized motion to start with. We'll add some other modifiers and things after we study the basics. So let's go to the A shape. A looks like this, last 3 fingers. A minor looks like this. Looks like an E major chord, but everything's moved over a string. We'll discuss why that happens, having to do with the tuning of the instrument. Then A7, we're going to play like this. So you got your middle finger and your 3rd finger, and the G string is open. So there's a dominant 7 or a flat 7th note added to the triad. Okay, let's take a look at D, D minor, and D7. D looks like this. And we strike the top 5 strings, leaving the lowest string out. Then minor looks like this. Leave the 3rd finger here and switch these fingers. There we go. Now if we want D7, there's D. We're going to make this an upside down triangle. Little triangular shape here. The other way here. So we've moved the root down a whole step to the dominant 7. There's D7. All right, let's take a look at G and C7. We learned C and C7. C looks like this. Remember, you can strike the bottom note clear down here if you block it. If you don't, you can hit it and it'll just mute. You'll have a thump, kind of a rhythm thing, but it shouldn't bother you much. Just make sure it's not open like that. That has kind of a rumbly sound. We don't want that. All right, we add the 7 by bringing the pinky down on the 3rd string. C, C7, G, proper fingering, and G7. Index finger back on the 1st string on the 1st fret. Pinky comes up. So from D minor, you leave the index finger, move these 2 fingers over. So you have some motion in these exercises that will show you different ways of moving that are simple without having to maximize and jump around with your hand, tiring yourself out. We want to increase your stamina as we go here. So let's take a look at chord primer number 3. I'm going to read them right along with you. Here we go. 120 beats a minute for these, once again. And here we go. 2, 2, 3, play. A minor, D minor, E7, and so on. I'm still kind of accenting 2 and 4, so you get kind of a backbeat rhythm going here, even though it's not indicated. So what I've decided to do with it. Repeat. Next exercise, measure 17. Repeat in double strokes. All right, those last three sections of that exercise would be one of the first 4 bars or so. There's kind of a Tom Petty song. The second two staves from say measure 13 or 14 or 15 there on is Imagine by John Lennon, and the last one is a little tag at the end of one of George Harrison's tunes called I've Got My Mind Set on You. So it's kind of a blended exercise that are pieces of traditional rock tunes kind of thrown in there. So you get your ears kind of open to that.